In your opinion, how can we make sure that this level of corruption never happens again?
It's a very simple way of doing that, and we sort of talked about it. How do you deal with corruption in that way? You take away from the halls of ability the monetary situation. See, if you control the money and you control and you have the power, well, then you got all the control. I mean, do you know the Fed back in 1983? I think it was Volcker said, I don't care what the president comes up with. In essence, this is what he was trying to say. He goes, we create the monetary policy. He didn't care what the elected officials did. And they were puppets of the Fed. So how do you fix this corruption stuff? First off, you have to dig the idiots out. You have to judge them. And here's the thing about when you do harsh judgment, what that does is it makes it go, wait, I don't want to do that. I mean, when people see harsh judgment, and it has to happen, the EBS, and you've got these massive punishments, I mean, treasonous punishment by military tribunals. Some people who are a little kind, compassionate kind of people are going to be like, wait, that seems a little too, heavy. You need to have the heavy hand, because what that does, it puts the fear of God in these people going, I don't want to do that. And then what you do is you take away the monetary policy from people who can create the policy. And then what you do is you take away the ability for them to stay in power for a long time. So what happens is we have a citizen-based government who there's a rotation of new people in, that every person has the ability to kind of push the whole. And so we have to have, that's why Nesara talks about election issues quite significantly. Blockchain technology will be able to fix the election kind of stuff so that we can verify that's the right person. Blockchain technology will help us be able to find that corruption point with that. But you've got to punish corruption. When people are scared of the law, that's when we have people who want to live within the law with that.
Some people on Telegram believe that Donald Trump is going to be the last president. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's made up. I don't see that as a point, and I've never seen that in any of other people's information. I mean, well, I've seen it in the other people's information, but when you talk about real people that are really looking at it, I just think it's rumor and it's silliness. Is Trump the only president? That would make him a king, and then he's going to last forever. Well, he's not going to last forever. I mean, I'd love him to come back and finish at least the next 2 years, but I'm fine with him retiring from office and letting someone else take over. I really am. You guys don't catch it. You want him to be in office for 8 or 10 or 12 years. I'm going, hey, listen, man, he might get this thing moving and let someone else take over. Hey, listen, let's let the man, kind of make his own choice in this. He's a businessman. Maybe he wants to go back to doing business stuff. Maybe he wants to retire after all this stuff. Hey, I'm fine with that, guys. Let's let the guy do it. But I don't see that as necessarily the last president. I just think, that's just a rumor that we haven't really substantiated.
Do you think that there is a possibility that JFK Jr. and Elvis are still alive?
Well, I'll deal with JFK Jr. for a little bit. There's, he was a very wealthy man. He was tied to Trump. They were very good friends. Did he know that there's a possibility that he could be killed? Yes. There's some really strange things around his 99 disappearance that the Coast Guard didn't go out to check for him for hours. There's all kinds of weird things related to that. Some of the pictures related to, I actually have people who were part of the who had close friends, firsthand accounts of people who were Navy SEALs, and said they didn't find any bodies. Now, again, who knows? I don't know. The wreckage that they found, looked, kind of suspicious. So could he be in a witness protection kind of thing? I have no problem with that. But let's use Elvis for just a second. I mean, Elvis would be in his 90s. I mean, come on, what does that do for me? Michael Jackson, I don't know. I mean, maybe he had some wealth and abilities. We want to resurrect all these people, and I go, what for? I mean, maybe some of them are in witness protection kind of thing, but I think that's out there looking at that's kind of a disinformation point. It's kind of like, what are we focusing on? Why do I care if Elvis is still alive? Here's another funny one. How about JFK Sr.? JFK Sr. is a World War II veteran. Okay. The youngest World War II veteran in 2022 is 96 years old. Now, I'm an audiologist. I deal with patients all the time. I deal with people in their 80s and their 90s and their 70s. I mean, so listen, I see it. My father-in-law is a Korea vet. He's 88. He is getting very, very old. Okay. 96 years old. You don't understand. That's an 18-year-old in 1945. JFK was born in 17. That makes him what? Some crazy number. I mean, that's almost 100 years old or something. Whatever. But the point is like, stop. Why are we focusing on that? JFK Sr.'s death was the progenitor for going into this Q movement. I think he is dead. I don't care about Elvis being alive. I really don't care about that. The only person I'll give you a little bit of, maybe, JFK Jr., maybe, because it was very suspicious the way that it happened. But, what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. Maybe. Again, there's a lot of connections there, but I don't care about the rest of them. Do I care that, Michael Jackson's still alive? What would that do for us? I don't know.
Do you think it's possible after Nesara is fully in effect, people are going to be able to survive and thrive just by working 20 to 30 hours per week? And will a father of 4 be able to support a family just by working 20 to 30 hours a week?
Well, I'll answer it a slightly different way. First off, let's focus on the people who are making, lower wages, like 35,000 a year, 25,000 a year kind of things. That's really close to poverty levels. It depends on where you are. So it's bad for a society to have people of working age not working. So that's a reality that we need to deal with. Okay. Men need to have a purpose. Here's the deal. Many men who retire, and I hear this all the time, people go, isn't Nesara, QFS will lower the Social Security age. Look at why. I mean, well, should lower it to 56. I'm going, I'm 56. I'll be 57 in April. Do you know I work at lowest 50, 60 hours, at highest 100-hour weeks? I mean, and you go, well, you shouldn't have to work that much. Why? Why shouldn't I work that? I'm not talking about whether I have to work that. I'm talking about whether you should. Does a guy need to work 20, 30 hours? I mean, maybe. I just think we've got a wrong viewpoint. I think we're going to have to flush a lot of the idea of 40-hour weeks and hey, listen, if a person doesn't have to work that many hours, don't. I don't care. But I'd like to see people operate in their passion. That's why minimum wage is irrelevant. Now, I'm not talking about an 18-year-old who's trying to make their way and we don't have minimum abilities for him. Okay. But do I want to see 18-year-olds working 20 hours a week? No. I'm telling you, that person needs to like start making their bones, start really building something. I want to see that person working hard. Now, I'm not saying that, should work themselves to the bone. I don't want to see single moms working 3 jobs and she can't even raise her kids. I mean, that to me, that's the evil. Okay, so think of it that way. That's the evil stuff that we don't want to spend time on. It's evil when I see that, that father, he's, he might have had a divorce and he's got alimony and all the other stuff, and he's swimming with debt. See, that's the evil part. So we're too focused on 20, 30-hour weeks. Again, you're 65 years old. You want to be able to retire? Go for it. I mean, I don't care. You have ability to get Social Security and get $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and that would be what you want to do. Great, but are you a productive member of society? Can you do things? Could you go out there and donate some of your time to be a poll worker, for the election stuff? Could you work in the church? Could you work in this other kind of thing? Could you, help someone build a business because you're an accountant? I mean, stop thinking inside of the systems. Think outside the systems. What can you do to make yourself in a better situation? And I think what we'll start seeing is that less focus on, that money issue. I mean, my sister has spent a lot of time in the Silicon Valley, and you never see a response. I mean, they like compare each other, like, well, I have 4 million. Well, I have 18 million. Oh, I feel bad. I feel stupid. I feel poor. And this comparison kind of stuff needs to die. We need to be like going, I'm focusing on doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's what I want to see people doing. I want to see people in their passion and working for that. And that doesn't mean that everyone's going to own a business. That doesn't mean everyone's going to have, massive amount of money. But I'd like to see people doing their passions. And maybe they're not going to make a lot of money, and maybe they don't have a lot of education, maybe they don't have a lot of capabilities, but man, I'm going to tell you, there are some blue collar jobs out there. Some of the happiest people in the world are the people that can go and build a wall. They come in, they build walls, they walk away and go, I built that wall. Hey man, I don't want to limit that guy to 20, 30 hours a week. And I know you're not saying that, Kevin. That's not what you're saying at all. But we need to kind of like think outside the box, break the boxes down and go, God, what do you want me to do?